right, hello everyone. I'm Fred Oakman. With me is Jake Peters, and Mr. Jake Peters to be more formal. And you're listening to PS This Is Awesome, a PlayStation podcast. This is episode 371, where we dive into our thoughts on all things PlayStation. Before we jump in, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/PS This Is Awesome, where you can also watch the video version of the podcast. You can also check out our trophy list on the PlayStation Network. I am Anchorless_81, and Jake is JakeSaw01. Send your thoughts to PS This Is Awesome at gmail.com. Share the show with friends. Don't forget to rate us. For just $1 on Patreon, you can join the one and only $1 club and receive a free die-cut vinyl sticker plus a shout-out on the show. So go to patreon.com/PS This Is Awesome to support us. And remember, if you like our podcast, it does us a ton of good, and it helps build our community if you can like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. This podcast airs every Wednesday for non-patrons, and if you are a patron of the show, we try to get it to you a day or two early. We are recording this on the last day of March, March 31st, 2025. And Jake, how are you doing?
Not too bad. I mean, obviously, I feel bad, like I mentioned before the show, about missing the podcast last week. I just had some personal stuff going on that kind of prevented me from... I had to duck out last minute, which is unfortunate. But other than that, things have been looking a little bit better since then. And I don't know. It's moving.
Yeah.
I don't really know what else to say about it. You know, tomorrow's April Fool's Day, so hopefully... with everything that's gone on, the universe just kind of keeps it to itself and don't get any more curveballs either from the powers that be or, quite frankly, honestly, if even like another person tries to prank me tomorrow, I might just punch him in the face. But that said, doing okay. How about you?
Good. Yeah, same. I'm having a rough go myself, but we're hanging in there, and a lot of stuff. I've been doing a lot of driving lately for work. A lot of going to the different offices I oversee. And without getting into the specifics of what I do, it's been wearing me out. There's a bug going around. I have a little bit of a sore throat today, so I'm going to try to keep things brief. I didn't put a lot of notes on the episode for us to talk about, but I will say that I'm excited for some nice weather. And although I heard it was supposed to snow next week, and that's just
I heard that too.
Makes me kind of upset. And I'm trying to think what else. I had some Pizza Hut pizza yesterday, but I will say it was a fall from grace. I remember Pizza being really good.
Like, I was going to ask you how it is now, because it's been a long time since I've had it, and they do seem like one of those places that might have taken a dive on the economy train.
The pan pizza. Yeah, no, well, the problem is there were always these different echelons of good pizza growing up. And it was always like the cheap shit with us, like Little Caesars, because we didn't come from much money, and it was always Little Caesars. Little Caesars wasn't always cheap, though, but they had the Bigfoot pizza, and you got bang for your buck there. We had a Pizza Hut, and we still have that old kind of Pizza Hut where you walk in and you sit down, and they treat it like a restaurant, where it's like high class, right? That's still here in our town. I always loved a Pizza Hut pizza. You can almost taste the yeast in the crust. It was always like really airy and bubbly, and like I love that about pizza. You don't get a lot of that with Domino's. It's a thinner crust, but the pizza I got, because I was trying to get myself food for the whole week because I didn't want to grocery shop. So I got this big box deal. And we're not sponsored by Pizza Hut, but 2 medium pizzas, breadsticks, and some sort of it was like a Alfredo all cheese pasta. And it was like $28. And I'm like, all right, I can do this. I can make this last. I put some toppings on the pizza, put garlic on the cheese one, and then I did green peppers, onions, and mushrooms on the other. And it showed up. I actually went and picked it up because I won't pay for delivery. And I picked it up, and I get home, and I open it up, starving, right? It's one of those things, I was just famished. I just needed to eat so bad. Like, I hadn't eaten all day, and I was just like, I'll fucking eat the box if I have to. And I open the lid, and it looks good, but I pick up the first slice, and the bottom of it, like pizza is kind of crispy on the bottom, how it's like it sits in the grease and it's like really good. Oh, no. Nope, just bread. It's not cooked like all the way. And I'm like, I'm not putting this fucker back in my oven, but that would do the trick. So I ate a couple slices. The breadsticks were what I remembered, but the pizza itself was just undercooked. So my recommendation, if you order from Pizza Hut, ask them to cook it a little longer, because they must have turned down the heat in their oven, or they must have a different. So what I did is I actually reheated a piece in my oven, 2 pieces to be exact, and cooked it a little more. And that's the Pizza Hut I remembered. So I think I was just delivered. I was given an undercooked pizza. 2 undercooked pizzas, which are not good from Pizza Hut. They have to be cooked. So I digress. It was fine. It left me wanting for more of something else. So anyways, I'm stuck with pizza in my fridge that I don't love, and $28 poorer. So I don't know. I'm trying to think if there was anything else of significance before we get into today's PlayStation podcast. I read somewhere that they're going to be cutting down some of the Allegheny Forest here in Pennsylvania and like drilling and stuff, which kind of pisses me off a little bit, but that's neither here nor there. I saw that, and then that's beautiful woods out there. I don't know if you guys have been out there. It's fantastic. It's some of the areas I have to drive. I drive through the woods, and it's great. Jake, did you listen to the episode I did by myself last week at all?
No, I actually just saw it yesterday, the day before that.
All right, you're good. I played and beat Sayonara Wild Hearts because it was one of the free games, and it was fine. The gameplay sucked. I didn't like it at all. The visuals were nice, and we're getting into games we're playing now, and I feel like there was something else that I might have beaten, but I purchased Octopath Traveler 2 for $30. And I'm about 34 hours now into that game. And I got to admit, I was kind of middle on it when I talked about it last week. And I'm warming up to it now. There's a little bit of a hurdle where you have to grind a lot to get your characters to a certain level where you can start appreciating just playing some of the story content. Like, you get a dose of everybody's first chapter. And then everybody's level 5 or 6 after their chapter. And then the next story piece that you play, you got to be level 19 before you can start it. And feasibly beat it. So it's just I have to grind, 12, 13 more levels just to get to the second part of the story for any of these characters. And that was really annoying for me. So I do now have all 8 characters in my party. You can only use 4 at a time. And I thoroughly enjoy all the stories so far. The only chapter ones I haven't played so far are Tenemos, who's the cleric. But I somehow played his chapter 2, so I don't know how it let me do that. I was having a fever dream, and I was like, I'll do the second chapter. I'm leveled up enough. And then the other one is the female healer, whoever that is. She's the medic or something. I haven't played her chapter 1. I do have her in my party. Everybody else is great. I had a chat with my brother, not on the show, but outside of the show, because he has respectfully refused to be a part of the show for whatever reason, indefinitely it seems. But he has a friend who played this game, and he said that what he was hearing and picking up from forums and stuff is that the dancer class is the silliest story of them all. And it really is. She's just trying to be a famous dancer and heal the world through her dance, So there are points where she cheers people up, and you see the little sprite do a little twirl and a little this. And then they're oh, I feel so much better. And it's just that's a fucking weird take. But there's some cool characters. There's a dude who he's a scholar. He's really good with magic. He's really well learned. He killed his background is that he was sentenced to forever in prison for killing his wife and his kid. So he's got a really dark past, but then you play as chapter 1 and you find out that it was his fellow scholar who like fucked him up somehow and ruined his life, and your first chapter for him is a prison break, and that's kind of fun. There are some other chapters. My main character that I like a lot is this guy. He's like a Chinese swordsman or Japanese swordsman from the town of Ku, and some of this might be a little bit of repeat for the listeners, but his story's fantastic. It's like his brother wants to be a warmonger and like overtook their father, and the character you play as wants to achieve peace through violence, and your brother just wants to kill everybody and take over as much land as possible. So you're going to your father's old contacts, traveling around, doing things for them, getting them under your belt so that you can go back and overthrow your brother's position on the throne. And that one's kind of cool because there's like the second chapter is it's like freaking Pit Fighter or something. You go to this town, they're having these arena fights, and it's fucking rad. It's like in a coliseum, and you got to prove your mettle. And so the game's cool, man. The graphics are great. I could go on, but I don't need to. I've been enjoying the stories quite a bit, actually, and the game does something cool where there's a lot of voiceover. So is like I call it a cutscene, but it's not. It's all sprite stuff that happens like an old Final Fantasy game or something. Think like War of the Lions, but in 2.5D or whatever. But like it's just like this thing happens, and then you're getting into like this cutscene where the story's going to unfold, and you can watch it at regular pace. And every time someone has a dialogue, you can press the button to have them go to the next dialogue piece. You press R1, and it goes at the same speed, but when it gets to the end of the bubble, it just hits the button for you, and it just goes naturally. So if I want to like do something in the kitchen or something, I can just put the volume on because you don't have to read it because it's all voiceover. So you can just listen while you do whatever. And they're not exceptionally long, but sometimes it can be. And then the last option is to go like double the speed. Click R1 again, and it goes rocket speed. And you just have to be a speed reader. It's like, I guess for people who might want to just skip past it. And you also have an option to push and hold circle to get through it if you don't want to listen to it. But there's some really cool things about this game, man. I know that some of the gripe is that it doesn't really make sense that all these characters are traveling together. Like their stories don't really intertwine at all. Maybe there's like a through line that like everybody's trying to make the world a better place. The merchant is really cool. His name's Particio. Yeah, he's a really cool character actually, and there's a neat day and night mechanic I haven't talked about yet. And all the towns and everywhere that you can go has a daytime and it has a nighttime. But you as the gamer just press R2 to switch between the two. It doesn't have any effect on the real world timeline, the game world timeline. But what it does is it exposes you to different things on the map. So at daytime, you might see like a broken down like Conestoga wagon or something. But then if you flip it to nighttime, you'll see like the group of people standing around it and like there's a thing, right? So essentially the map is this big, but then it's this big in the nighttime and it's this big in the daytime, and all your interactions can be different. And all your characters have these kind of passive abilities depending on who's in your party, and it allows you to interact with townsfolk differently. So Particio is the merchant, and all the townsfolk have like stuff on them, items on them and whatever. So one of his things is the higher ranking he gets, he can wheel and deal with random townsfolk for different items at better discounts. So that's a cool thing. You walk up to someone, you press square, and then you get the options of the 4 characters in your class. What do you want to do with this townsperson? Your thief can mug people, and if it essentially opens up like a 1-versus-1 combat. And maybe not the thief one does, but it's another one where I think the cleric can persuade people. The coup guy will challenge people to a sword fight, and you can learn their skills. The townsfolk, they're always like, okay, you're like, draw your weapon. And like the townsfolk is just like some old man, and he was like, do I have to? And then it's like you're just fighting this old guy, and sometimes they'll rock you. But if you beat them, you then, as that character, can learn special moves from all these townsfolk. So in this huge world, there are probably NPCs that have really awesome shit if you just know where to look. And it's kind of fun, man. And it's interesting. And they all have little mini things going on. Like the merchant has these different opportunities to help people think about things differently, and convince people to sell like cargo ships to you, or convince like this guy's he invented the phonograph, but he doesn't know what to do with it. He's just he's like, this can I don't know, record a voice or play back my voice, and Partitio's like, hey, you know what, if you could record musicians, and people might be interested in listening to artists from all over the area. And he's like, oh really? And you're like, yeah, I'll go find them for you. And then you go to all these different towns, and you use the dancer to get somebody to join your party, because they fall in love with you, and you take them back to this guy, and he's like, oh, you found a dancer for me. And then they record a song, and then eventually you beat the side quest. But there's a lot of little mini shit like that in this game that makes it kind of interesting. But these characters, I will agree, there's no real through line. Like I don't know. They're just like, hey, will you travel with me? And they're like, sure. And it's like, that's the story, But they all have their own story, which is kind of fun. But I don't know how else they can make the game work. And I think that's kind of the identity of these games. I didn't play the first one, but I did enjoy it, the second one so far, quite a bit. And I wanted to play the first one, but it just wasn't on sale. It was like $60. So I don't know. Did you ever play Octopath Traveler, Jake?
I played the first one, and I got, I think, like 2/3 of the way through it, and then so there's a couple things about it I'm curious about with the second one. Like, one, it's like every character has a story arc, but it's like in stages.
Yeah.
So there'll be like a main story thing for a character, and then there won't be some shit for a while, and then another main story thing for that character will pop up. And between these like different sections of story for each character, there are like difficulty spikes.
Yeah.
And so like I got to where I'd spent all this time like getting all of my characters through like their second like level of story arcs. And then it got to the third one, and it was like immediately everything was really hard again, and I was just like, I don't feel like it anymore. Yeah. And but to be honest, like I loved the game. I love the visuals. I love the combat. I love the way everything plays. I like the idea
the grinding,
of the Octopath Traveler thing. Yeah, it was just the grinding that just like I had other things that I would rather be playing than grinding out this Octopath Traveler game. And the other thing was that, and I'm curious if this has changed at all in the second one, is that you have these 8 party members that all have their own story, and you kind of do these main story arcs for each one of these characters, but there's no interaction between them. Like if you take like party member A and B on party member C's story arc mission, there's like no, character interaction that I don't know, like I don't really know the best way to describe it. Like those characters aren't really, they don't seem like it matters that they're there, that there's any invested. If like in old games like Final Fantasy and stuff, there would be quests for specific characters and stuff, and usually, now maybe because the narrative was a little tighter, the characters would have comments and opinions and thoughts and everything about each other's kind of goings on in terms of the story and everything. But in Octopath, it just seemed like kind of like they were just the party members you decided to bring with you.
Right.
Like, not necessarily that they really gave a shit about this particular quest that they were on that was not their main story arc. So I don't know if they made that seem a little bit better in the second one or not, but that was one of my gripes about it.
Yeah, they do. They don't make it that much better, but they do have now, when you're running a story with a character, they call them chapters, and say I'm on chapter 2 with Partitio. it says like press the option button to hear party chatter, and you press the button, and then it just shows both characters on the screen, and they have a quick dialogue back and forth. Like Particio has to like help somebody with like a steam engine. Someone will jump in, party chatter, you can click it. It's optional. It doesn't happen unless you click the button. And then the person will be like, oh, Particio, I know that you can figure this problem out. I really believe in you. And he'll be like, oh, thanks. Yeah, with the help from my friends, I can do this, I think. I'm glad you're along for the trip. Or it's just very surface shit. It doesn't... So I think they heard that complaint and they tried to do something. They also have something where they have cross quests. And there's only a handful of them. So you go on an individual quest with two of the characters in your party. And they have a quest where they kind of interact a little more together. They bond a little bit, which is interesting. But it very much is still a segment. Fade to black. Here's the two people on their quest. Fade back to black when it's over, and now you have the party, and they don't communicate anymore or ever reference the thing ever again. So it's weird. It seems a little disjointed in that way. So I do hear that. And the grinding isn't fun. I mean, the combat's fun, thankfully, but this is one of those games that when you traverse the land, you don't know where the bad guys are. Just like an old Final Fantasy game, just every once in a while, and you're in a combat, right? And you're like, okay, I'm going to fight. And then as soon as the combat's over, and you're back, and it's like, and then you're in another fucking battle. So it's like, if you're trying to grind, you can't even find the enemies and walk into them. You're just like walking in circles, waiting for it to trigger another fight. And you're just like, all right, I'm fucking, all right. And you can only, and the people who aren't in your party when you do the battle, they don't level up. So I have like a level 1 person in my party right now, but there are other members who are like level 28 and 30, but it's quick to level 1 up. You just go to like you fight level 30 bosses with them in your party, but it's just like, why can't they just all level up? Like, that's a thing that I don't understand. Like, why can't we just level these characters up? Why do I have to go back and grind? Because you don't get all the characters made available to you at once. So I think it's by design a little bit, where I think like they have different levels of difficulty. And there is online a preferred order of characters to play so that you're not grinding. So that, like, all the characters in your party aren't like the ones that have like level 35 quest 3s, like some of them have like level 15 quest 3s or level, you know what I mean? Like, but if you pick the wrong 4 fucking people, you're fucking grinding forever. And the game doesn't make any suggestions. So you just pick who you think looks cool. And then like you have one guy that like, you can't play his chapter 2 for the first 30 hours of the game because you're just not good enough yet. And it's, I don't know, there's some leveling fucking issues with this game. I don't know. But I do like it. But that's my biggest critique, is just the leveling and the grinding. So yeah, to your point, Jake, yeah, that there is that, but it looks like they tried to address it. It's just, they probably could have done even a better job than what they did.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you playing anything, Jake?
No, I'll be honest with you. I've played almost 0 video games in the last week.
Yeah.
So, because I haven't really had it in me, but I'm still playing. So I am playing Jedi Survivor still. I think I talked about that.
Yeah.
I was maybe just starting it the last time I was on the show, and it's fun. I actually really like it. I'm coming around, and I think it was the same way on the first game. I'm coming around on the main character. I was bitching a little bit about that
because he was the shameless
main character
guy.
And the actor and the shameless guy, but I'm coming around on him, and the game is really fun. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of complaints about it. Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna kind of probably keep playing it for a bit until I might beat it or until something else comes along. But I started that game because I was interested in it. That game, Atomfall.
Yeah.
I'm really interested in it, and I noticed that it was on. I looked it up, and it was on Game Pass. I was like, "Oh, that's awesome!" So I downloaded it on Game Pass, and I was like, man, this really doesn't feel that good. And then I found out that the series, so I have a Xbox Series S, which is like the wimpier one.
Yeah.
And apparently that is like by far the worst version. Like there's all kinds of input lag and all this shit, and it runs at 30 frames. And apparently like even the base PS5 version of it runs like at 60 frames and everything. So I'm him-hawing because I do have some PSN cash. I'm him-hawing about maybe just buying the PS5 version of it and playing it. But what I played, like what I played at the beginning, seemed like it might be pretty interesting. But I don't really have anything to say about it other than that, like, you just kind of wake up in this quarantine zone around this nuclear reactor in Britain, and you just have to, like, figure out how to get out of it. And it's kind of like a Survivor kind of game / detective game / Fallout game. Like it's seems pretty interesting. So, and I don't think other than Claire Obscure Expedition 33, I don't know that there's really much of anything coming out that I'm interested in the next month or so. So I don't know. I might buy it and just try it out, but I don't have a lot to say about it just yet.
Very good. Let me double back real quick on non-game shit that I was thinking about, because I looked at the time. I have lamented for years about not being able to watch the Pirates ever, because MLB TV, every single game was a blackout game here, and cable's like $100 a month in this area to get the Pittsburgh channel to watch the Pirate games. Really, for me, it was the most affordable way for me to see my favorite baseball team was to just drive to fucking Pittsburgh and pay for a $35 ticket and watch them.
Yeah.
It's the cheapest way for me to see them. And it's just so ridiculous. So, Jake, you mentioned last year that they had this SNP 360 service. And I have a real quick story. We'll get into the gaming news. They have to be very careful about the region to make sure you're not region locked out, for this. But I signed. I didn't pay anything, but I created an account, and then I went to buy. It's like $20 some dollars a month, $22 a month or something. I went to buy this, and then on my phone, and it kept saying, "Excuse me, that I was region locked." Not offered in my region. But then I go to their site and I type in the zip code and it said, "Oh yeah, it's available." And I'm like, what the fuck's happening? I got so pissed off. I wrote support and I told them what was going on, and they opened a ticket real quick. I got an email from Pedro and he was like, "Hey, what's going on?" But by that point I already figured it out. So I was using my iPhone and I checked my IP on my iPhone. And iPhones must do something with Google, or not with Google Cloud, but with iCloud. They're like, it was saying my phone, and I was on Wi-Fi, mind you, but the IP address was showing South Carolina.
I wonder if iPhones have like a default, they have like a VPN on by default or something.
I don't know, but then I checked on my computer and it showed exactly where I'm at. So I signed up for the account on my Mac, which is weird because it also uses the iCloud, but it worked. But my phone was showing South Carolina, so I don't know why it was. And I wrote Pedro back, so I figured it out. It was something to do with iCloud. I don't know. But so I'm in, and it's an app available on the Google TV. If you have a Google TV platform or whatever, just download the app, SNP 360. All the Pirates. I watched the Penguin game last night a little bit because I had it, and they played whoever that was. I don't know who it was, Connecticut or something. Yeah, I don't know who it was.
Yeah.
But
Connecticut.
it was on. I don't know who it was. But yeah, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched the Pirates lose in the bottom of the ninth. Fucking wild pitch. Bednar looks like shit already, our closer. We're 1-3. We're playing, I don't know who we're playing tonight. Started at 7. It's 7:04 right now.
So do they have a maximum number of pitches that a pitcher can throw now?
No.
So Paul Skeens could play the whole fucking game.
Oh yeah.
But they want to save his arm or something.
Right,
so
that's all part of baseball. Yeah, they didn't used to do that shit And now they do, because it's the numbers. Computers have gotten better. The numbers have gotten better. The math has gotten better. It's all fucking math. And it's annoying because I think if the Pirates just went back to the fucking roots and they played the good players and they fucking ran them like racehorses, we'd fucking be in this shit. You know what I mean? But they don't. But our closer, Bednar, has no confidence right now. He's pitching like an asshole. Our catcher went to pick a dude off on second in the bottom of the ninth when we played the Marlins. The guy stole first to third because he overthrew, and the ball's in the fucking outfield. We're tied 2-2 in the bottom of the ninth. The guy gets to third, and then the very next pitch, Bednar threw a wild pitch, and the guy from third made it in. That's how the other team won. They were never ahead the entire game, and we just handed them the fucking win. I'm just so agitated, man. But hopefully we start playing a little better. It's early, you know. That's what every Pirate fan always says. Well, it's early, you know. It's early. There's only like 190 games left, so you know. And that's the other thing. If you're paying for a service like that and you're paying for baseball, you get 20 games a month, $1 a game, you know. So
yeah, that's a good deal for baseball because there's so many fucking games. I mean, even hockey, there's 82 games a year, and with the Penguins, you probably get 60 to 70 of them on there. I mean, that's a really good deal. So I'm glad you're enjoying it because when they came out with that, I was like, oh, this is fucking rad because I'm not gonna pay the I can't use ESPN Plus because they'll black out all the fucking Penguins games. Yeah. And I can't, like, I don't want to pay for cable because it'll literally bankrupt me. Yeah. So it's pretty cool that Sportsnet Pittsburgh finally decided to make their own streaming service.
I'm sure they're making tons of money. I hope they are.
Sure.
I just hope they don't get greedy and try to raise the price on it. It's perfect price. It's working. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I would honestly say that $20 is like they might be able to push it to 30 because it is technically all of the Sportsnet programming. Like, it is both of the channels, all of it.
Yeah.
So they technically do have, but I don't know that it's, dude, fucking.
You'll never be able to watch the
Netflix
Steelers
has way
on
more
it,
content.
You know?
Oh no.
Dude, and then we'll we'll get into news, but someone at work told me that, I don't know if this is true, but Pittsburgh is the only city that has uniformity between all three teams with the colors. And like saying the Pittsburgh blah 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 blah. Yeah, there's no other city in America that does that.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's the black and gold, all three teams, and it's like Pittsburgh and then the name of the thing. I don't know. That's what somebody told me. I don't know if it's true, but anyways, I think it's kind of cool. And the Steelers don't have cheerleaders, which I think is fucking rad.
Yeah, I think the Steelers are the only team that still has the logo on only one side of the helmet, too.
Yeah, doing things different. Yeah, that's cool. All right, let's get into the news. I don't really have a whole lot on here. I don't have a whole lot to say, really. Like I said, my throat hurts, so we'll be done with the podcast any minute. Sorry to bring you along the ride, listeners. News, the PS5 port for Starfield is in the works. This is a game I didn't play. It was a Microsoft Xbox exclusive. There were always rumors that it may or may not come to us as a Bethesda game. It had lackluster reception, but then also good reception from others. I don't know what to make of this. I don't know when we're getting it, but I don't even know that I'm going to play it. But there's that for anyone who's interested.
I think it's worth checking it out for sure. I really liked it. It just wasn't.
Is it $60 worth checking out, or $70?
I think that I honestly think it's worth that, but the base game is. I haven't played the expansion. It's just I was expecting something very specific with the Bethesda game where it's just like an open world that you just explore and you come across stuff or whatever. Starfield has like most of the trappings of a Bethesda game, but instead of it being like one map that's just seamless that you kind of roam around and do your thing on, like a Fallout or a Skyrim, it's like a bunch of different worlds and you're like hopping between them with like your like like jumping with your spaceship. So there's a lot of like loading between areas and stuff, and that part of it kind of turned me off. And I wasn't like incredibly enamored with the main story, but to be honest with you, the main story is never really like the touchstone of these kinds of games.
Yeah, right.
But I would argue that like even though it's probably my least favorite Bethesda franchise at this moment, I think it's worth playing for sure.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably not going to pony up any money for that, but if it comes out on like a PS Plus game, I don't think it will, but if it ever does, I'll probably try it. Don't get me wrong, I like the Fallout games and shit, but it just seems like this game is going to be welcome to your new life, and you just get sucked into it. It's like going to eat up all your time is what I mean by that. Tony Hawk with the 3 and 4 remakes for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 announced that he cut a couple tracks from it himself, and he hand selected some tracks for the new games because he thought it was just there were better picks. Weird, but all right.
Yeah, I wonder why, like, what tracks he cut and why. Maybe he cut them, like, did he cut them because of licensing
He cut an Alien Ant
or...
Farm song for sure.
I wonder why. Like, if he just, like, hates them, or if there was, like, a specific reason. Because I would imagine that Alien Ant Farm kind of fits with the... I don't know, man. That's really interesting. But you said he added some?
Yeah, it was on this was on Push Square. Tony Hawk 3 and 4 cut content. I don't know. It says I don't know. I'd have to go to the website to look it back up. But yeah, he hand selected a few that weren't on the original, and they got rid of some that weren't. I'm guessing the ones they got rid of were due to licensing issues, and he's just saying that he cut them. But I don't know. It was announced that April PS Plus Essential Games. I like this lineup. You know, I don't think our friend LJ really cared much for it, but Robocop Rogue City, I kind of wanted to try this, and now I'll get a chance to. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Dead by Daylight game, but the makers of that, I guess, rather. And, I know the Friday the 13th game went over pretty well. Texas Chainsaw Massacre just sounds kind of fun, goofy time with your friends. And then this last one I don't know anything about, and I don't really care much about this one. It's mainly the Robocop game and maybe a sprinkle of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but the Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth is another free game. I'm imagining a lot of people are excited for that. I'm not, though. Jake?
Yeah, I actually was thinking, like, because I was just talking about maybe buying Atomfall. The one thing that was kind of making me not pick it up right away was I was thinking, so maybe I'll dive into this Robocop game.
Yeah.
That we're getting tomorrow. Because I've heard it's really good. But I kind of want to, before I play it, I kind of want to rewatch the movie. Because I literally, it's probably been 20 years since I've seen the movie. So
yeah,
I feel like my understanding is that it's very faithful to the movie, not necessarily in like the beat by beat story, but just in like the presentation and everything. And so I kind of want to like watch the movie and then play the game just to see what it's like, because it does seem like a pretty neat kind of I don't know, what would you call that? Like a neat I don't know, version of Robocop, let's say. Yeah, there's a word for it, but you know what I mean.
I do know.
Rendition, I suppose.
Yeah. Very good. Cool. I saw some stuff about Naughty Dog. Might as well cover both the Naughty Dog news points here. Apparently, there's another original Naughty game that's been in the works for 3 years already. And it's not The Last of Us 3. It's from the director who I think spearheaded the whatever the Uncharted one was that we got. I can't remember what it was called at this point. The DLC with Chloe. What was that one?
Oh, Lost Legacy?
Yeah, I think it's the guy that was kind of spearheaded, proved his worth, his mettle in that game, and then has been working with a team for the last 3 years on another original Naughty Dog game. It's very possible this could be an Uncharted game. I don't think that they've shot that down. It wouldn't surprise me, but they did say that it wasn't The Last of Us Part 3 and it wasn't Intergalactic, so Naughty Dog's been busy, thankfully. Maybe they can.
I mean,
Yeah,
it would be really rad because they made it seem like they weren't going to be the ones that did Uncharted. Should Uncharted come back,
right?
But they've been so protective of their IP. Like they did their own ports of all their games to the new consoles and everything like that. That it's almost like, why wouldn't it be them that did it?
Yeah, right.
And so, yeah, maybe it is Uncharted. That would be really interesting if they were the ones that decided to do it themselves.
Yeah, they're going to have a really big post Grand Theft Auto showing, I think, Naughty Dog, because it says that they've kind of come out, and Druckmann was talking about Intergalactic, the heretic priest, and he said that it's playable internally at their studio right now. And he said it's incredible. And apparently they're eyeing up a 2027 release for that game, which tracks. I mean, I remember when they first showed the Last of Us trailer, it was just those leaves or something. And like, I was like, oh shit. It felt like it was years before we got a taste of that game. So. Yeah,
I remember that first trailer was literally just like a documentary snippet on the cordyceps fungus.
Yeah.
From like BBC or something like that. Mm-hmm. It's pretty interesting for sure. So yeah, I guess it kind of tracks that maybe Intergalactic will be in a couple years. It's just kind of a bummer to have to wait that long, but I mean, take as long as you need, as long as it's good. But maybe in the meantime we'll get another new game from them. I mean, it would be rad if they just out of nowhere were like
shadow drop Uncharted.
Here's a fucking Uncharted game. Like that would be super cool.
Yeah, I would fucking love that. I don't even know if it's Uncharted they're working on though, but it would be cool for sure. We're at a point where I kind of want some familiarity from Naughty Dog. I want something that I know they can do, and we know we're not getting The Last of Us 3 anytime soon. So maybe an Uncharted game. Probably not. I don't know.
I think the world needs an Uncharted game, like something with a little more levity and just.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it can't have a serious story, but like a little more like sass, a little more feel good.
Just a little slapstick.
I could use something like that.
Action comedy. Yeah. All right, well, Warner Brothers Games, per Bloomberg, has canceled some DLC for Hogwarts Legacy. And I think this was going to be paid DLC. And that's all I really got on it. I should have looked more into these articles. It's been a long-ass week and day for me. But if you're still, hopping on the Hogwarts train, it looks like you're going to be one less DLC than you were promised or told. So you're expecting. So it's a weird move.
Yeah, I love that game. So, but at this point, I would rather just have the second game. If I'm being completely honest with you.
Yeah. Right. All right. And lastly, Sony's been licensing out a lot of their IP, and one of them was Everybody's Golf, and they licensed this out to Bandai Namco. So might be getting another Everybody's Golf game, and this seems like this is the safest way for Sony to have their IP released. Put it on the shoulders of other studios that they trust that aren't Sony studios. They've lost enough money recently. So it's interesting, though. Not a big risk there. I think there's a lot of Everybody's Golf fans. It's a fun game. I'm sure it'll do all right. So that's the news. Jake, you anything on that?
No, I mean, I really enjoyed the last Everybody's Golf game on PS4. So hopefully, I know that Clap Hands isn't the one doing this. It's a different studio. But I this is another like kind of junk food kind of game for me. Like I love just, playing around to golf in these types of games.
Yeah.
I do hope that they eliminate the fucking open world, like hub world thing. Like, just give me a menu and let me go to the next round of golf.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to, like, every time I finish a round of golf be dropped onto this island where I have to, like, run around and get in a golf cart and fucking drive to, like, the guy and then ask him to start playing around. Like,
yeah,
it just seems tedious to me. But
yeah,
I get that people like it. It's kind of the way of things now.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting. I found this Instagram guy, and it's so funny. Let me see if I can. I'll show it to you later. It's so. Do you even have Instagram?
Yeah.
This is golf related. Let me find the link I sent Nate, because I know I sent it to Nate, and it was some good shit. I know he had a laugh about it. Well, I'll find it and I'll shoot it to you. It's some funny shit, man. He just talking about it, just come up with their own lingo for golf. It's so good. Like a par, they call it a parmesan. Talking about birdies, calling it hot wing and fries. Stuff like that, and it's just the comment. This guy goes out with his buddies and he golfs. And they must use like some sort of app where they can track the ball. I don't know if there's apps where you buy special balls that it tracks the trajectory and shit on them when you drive with them and stuff. It's really fucking cool. You set up the camera, boom, you hit them. It looks like you're on TV, like a professional golfer. And he films these videos, and then he just he commentates them, him and his buddies. And the overdubs are they're hysterical. They're so good. They make me want to go golfing. But anyways, let's talk about new games this week. There are 8 games this week to talk about. No, maybe 9. I'm not going to go into the details here, but we have Dreamless March 31st, Sulfur on March 31st, Vagris the Riven Realms, or the Riven Realms maybe, March 31st, Kiora, April 1st, Croc Legend of the Gabos, April 2nd, Sociable Soccer 2025, April 3rd. Wanderer Fragments of Fate, April 3rd. My Little Universe, April 4th. And lastly, Feudal Bros Tonosama number 1, April 4th. So those are the games coming out this week. I don't really see anything that jumps off the page for me. But seeing Croc, Legend of the Gabos, reminded me of the NES game Crocodile Hunter. And that game was like so hard. I think it was called Crocodile Hunter. I'll have to double check on that. Crocodile Hunter NES. Bayou, it was called Bayou Billy is what I'm thinking. It was called The Adventures of Bayou Billy. Game was rad.
Bayou Billy.
It was like
That's funny.
Yeah, Konami developed it. It was like this thing where it was really, really hard. It's like a Double Dragon kind of game, but there were like crocodiles and shit. Let me see what it says here. Game was really, really hard. It was a beat 'em up, a light gun shooter, and also had racing. So the plot is Billy West, otherwise known as Bayou Billy, is a Crocodile Dundee-like vigilante from the bayous of Louisiana, who has fought against a local crime boss known as Godfather Gordon. In retaliation for interfering with his smuggling operations, Gordon kidnaps Billy's girlfriend Annabelle Lane in order to lure Billy into one final battle. Billy's quest to save Annabelle consists of 9 stages that takes him from the swamplands to Bourbon Street, as he battles Gordon's henchmen and eventually arrives at Gordon's estate to come face to face with the big boss himself. It's pretty fucking cool. I don't know if people liked it or not, but apparently there was a comic as well. Archie had a comic book series based on the adventures of Bayou Billy. But yeah, that was a Nintendo game, and the art was very Uncharted. There's like a Jeep. It's like him in the bayou with a fucking knife, a big machete, you know. It's the crocodile, like there's adventure, there's a pretty woman in the background, some smug asshole who has a lot of money. That's the bad guy. It's pretty fucking cool, man. Yeah, I don't know. It was a badass game. It was hard, though. I don't think I ever beat it, but it was fun. Anyways, that's all I got. And Jake, what about you, man?
I don't know that I really have much of anything else to talk about. There's nothing on this list that really kind of appeals to me at all. I think Croc was originally a PS1 game, I want to say. But I don't know. I don't know. I guess tomorrow or the next day is they're gonna reveal like a lot of details about the new Switch console. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of curious about sort of what they're gonna talk about there. And because they did bring up some they had a Nintendo Direct a couple days ago, and they mentioned some stuff that was relevant to PlayStation. So I'm curious whenever they announce this, we'll get more in depth with the Switch 2, if they're going to announce any more games that may or may not be coming to PlayStation. But other than that, I am 100% ready for it to be nice out. Finished playing hockey last night. Absolutely freaking dogged today because I had to play 2 games back to back yesterday.
Yeah.
So we literally went out on the ice, played a fucking game. We went into the locker room. I took the top half of my equipment off, laid on the floor for 15 minutes while they cut the ice, then put it all back on, went back out, played another game immediately. Dude, by the end of the game, I could hardly even stand because my legs were so fucked. So, like, today, I'm just so sore. But I'm going to miss... Like, I always miss playing hockey once summer comes around. But, dude, I'm ready for some heat, some sunshine. I'm ready to... Like you had mentioned, I'm ready to go play golf. I'm ready to get on my motorcycle. And I think my soul needs it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't know, man. I'm ready for summer. You know, I'm
Definitely
feeling some sickness coming on, and I hope I'm not getting something.
Dude, freaking! I was checking over the weekend. The allergy index is like through the roof because of all the seasonal, like the weather going up and down and the rain and the freaking blooming and shit like that. So I know a lot of people are getting like sinus infections and crazy shit. So hopefully it's just like something like that. And it's not like, you're not getting freaking COVID or something. That would really suck.
It'll be nice out and I'll just be fucking exhausted or something. Yeah. Oh, well. Yeah, I don't know, man. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, listeners. Thanks for jumping on today, Jake. We'll try to be here next week. I got a lot of stuff going on. If I can't make it, maybe Jake can do a solo or we'll figure something. Might postpone next week. We'll see. But that being said, thanks for tuning in, and I appreciate y'all. And have a good week. We'll talk to you soon. Like Bug Snacks, Bayou Billy, and Blades of Steel. P.S. This is awesome.
This is awesome.